this is really helpful for a young designer to know. It's like, Kanye's always said, and this is public, this is not anything like, secret, but Kanye's always said that more designers, more artists should have less managers and agents who just take their cut, and more CEOs, heads of business development, who actually bring revenue to the table, who bring something, who offer chance for growth as a brand, right? If you are a celebrity and you have a brand, like most celebrities do, every celebrity wants to create their brand, right? It's like, your brand might just be like you're a damn good actor, right? And maybe you don't want to sell products, you just want to act. But if you're a celebrity that wants to create a brand, a fashion line, something like that, why would you just have somebody who takes their cut of that? Why wouldn't you bring in somebody that could actually grow your brand for you? That's what Kanye has done. He's created an infrastructure of growth. And that's what more people need to do. And that's why you see people like, I don't know if it's Virgil, who just aligns with the dopest lawyer, like can get his deals done. Like, surround yourself with people that are going to grow your brand, right? So like, that's what celebrities need to do, in my opinion. And that's what I want to do going forward with my career, is like, support creatives to build their brand in ways that's authentic to them, and show them that like these deals can be done the right way. So like, what do you need? You need a good lawyer, you need a good CEO, you need a good, every celebrity should look at themselves as a business. It's like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Like, he knew that from day one. He's not the one running everything. He has many different businesses that are all run by different people that he trusts implicitly, like people that he grew up with. And then he's brought in other people with talent. I'm sure he has lawyers on staff. I'm sure he has business development people. I'm sure he has agents for Rock Nation. Like, that's what you need to be looking at, right? So that's basically the model. And it's like Kanye's always said that. He's like, man, like, I need a CEO. I need a CEO to grow my business. I need a business development guy, like, and more artists need to think this way. They need to stop saying like, my manager is just gonna like, manage the stuff that I do, All right, yeah, you can do a lot because you're the artist, but it's tiring. Like, it's, it wears you down to be like, I gotta do everything? Why isn't my CEO bringing in business? Why isn't my sales guy, out there selling my merch? Like, artists always have to do things on their own because it's just the life, man. It's like so hard to be an artist because people don't believe in you, right? So they have to do everything themselves. They need to start surrounding themselves with people that believe in them and can add to the puzzle, can add to the brand, right? And the next thing you know, you've grown a conglomerate that's like, it's untouchable. It's like, I don't have to go call McDonald's anymore. I got my own business,
So we're talking about building infrastructure with empathy.
Yes. That's the way I'd like to do it.
Yeah.
That's the way I believe it, because I empathize with every creative person that's out there. I know the struggle. I know how hard it is, right? Like, it's a grind, and like, a lot of people don't empathize with artists because they don't understand them. People look at them like, you're a freak. Like, why are you dressing this way? Why are you wearing your hair this way? Why are you rapping this way? Like, I don't understand it, But most art is not understood until years later, But these are the people that are paving the way, and then they get, like leached off of until like, that's why we got Uniqlo collaborations with Basquiat. It's like, man, nobody was checking for Basquiat when he was out there. People were looking at him like he's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thought he was a madman, and it drove him to death,
Yeah.
So like, we got to stop doing that. We got to put infrastructure around the artists and realize that these are the people that are really, they have their finger on the pulse of everything. They just don't have the infrastructure to grow because they don't know it. That's why I went back to business school after practicing law for 15 years. It's like, how can I be a more valuable asset to artists and creative people? Because they need to know, like, they don't have that structure in their brain to be CEOs yet.
Yeah.
But they can be taught that.
Yeah.
And maybe like the 10% that they spend on running their business is enough, and they have other people around them. But if they don't know that, they continue to get taken advantage of by people that just want to suck money out of them because they draw all of the income. They bring it in because they got the swag, they got the juice, they got the art, creativeness, like everything. And somebody comes around and is like, yeah, I can help you. It's going to cost you 25%. It's going to cost you 40% for this deal. And next thing you know, they're getting screwed, right? So like, just more about like helping, You know, like that's the way it should be.
And that's the main reason why we're doing this interview, right? We want to help the designers,
Yeah.
specifically from a millennial's perspective, because I do believe that the transformation is here through direct to consumer. And the fastest way to moving your brand is by creating empathy or having empathy, creating equity with your customers, and it's setting up the infrastructure to allow that to happen in an organic way.
Right.
So, Kenneth, I really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, likewise.
I don't want to take too much of it. I know I already did today, but
all
before we end, I just want to kind of ask you if there's anything else you would like to share with our audience based on the premise of what we've been talking about today.
Yeah, I just think, for me, I've had enough years in this game and doing a bunch of different things to really be able to say that if there's something that you're passionate about as a young designer, entrepreneur, or whatever, like you have to go after it. You can't be, deterred because it didn't work out the first time or the second time or the third time. Like, life is about failure. Like you gotta learn from it. You gotta grow from it. I try to teach that to my kids. It's like you didn't make the team this year, but you try hard. You come back next year. You make it next year. It doesn't mean that you weren't worthy. It doesn't mean that you weren't. You didn't have the skill set. It's just about the grind, right? Like most of the people give up early. Like anybody who follows Gary Vee on like Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, it's like that dude is like giving nuggets every day. It's just like it doesn't make him more talented. It just makes him more resilient and more like willing to not stop. And so like for me, that's what the growth has been. And I got sidetracked for a while, but not really sidetracked in the sense that I wasn't doing what I loved. It was just like I was building something that enabled me to pivot and go help people in the way that I can now. So I'm a savvy lawyer now, I'm a savvy business dude. And like, I have that ability to help. As a designer, don't ever feel sidetracked because you're not doing exactly what you want to do. Think about what you're doing now and how it contributes to you as an individual so that when you get there, you have much more of a skill set, you have much more, confidence or ability to move. And so, it's like when Ye was working at the Gap, he was selling retail. Who would have thought that years later that would help him when he was selling his own clothes, right? But he's working at the Gap at the time and thinking maybe this is not where I need to be in my life. But years later, it's like, I should be running the Gap, So like, life is about twists and turns, and there's no telling. Like, I try to tell the young kids, like I speak at law schools all the time, and I say, don't get discouraged because your first job might not be exactly what you want. Don't get discouraged because you're a young designer and, you didn't get your brand off the ground immediately. Like, think about the path and like what you're doing to grow, to get to where you want to be. Like, I'm 43 years old, loving life right now and doing exactly what I wanted to do, and it wasn't always like that. So, just don't get discouraged and keep pushing.
Awesome, man. So what's next for you? And how can our audience keep in contact with you?
Yeah, sure. So, I'll answer the second question first, which is a little bit easier. You can hit me up on LinkedIn or I'm on Instagram if you search me. I try to be as good as possible responding to LinkedIn. I get like 100 ads a day. It's getting a little out of control.
But you do respond, and I will put that shout out to you because I really appreciate you.
Yeah, I try to, especially if somebody's persistent and like has something that connects, But what am I doing now? I mean, I'm just trying to stay in the fields that I'm most excited about, which is fashion, streetwear, sneakers, and there's a couple of things on the horizon that hopefully will pan out soon, but I don't want to speak on them yet. So
awesome, man.
Stay tuned, man.
No, definitely we will be.
Yeah, for sure.
And hey, again, thank you for the time.
Yeah, man. Likewise.
Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, same here.